I'm Jessica Clem.
Boom, 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 boom.
And this is a breakdown of the finale for Invincible Season 4. It's finally here, and we don't know whether we lost or won by the end of it, honestly, and I guess that's okay. In this episode, Mark isn't just fighting a Viltrumite takeover, he's fighting himself, and it's really getting in the way, and I need my boy to go to therapy ASAP. With no further ado, let's just get into this breakdown, because this episode, where do we go from here? Let's just break it down scene by scene for all the details you might have missed, and of course, all the comic book Easter eggs you might have missed as well. But before we get into it, make sure to check out the latest and greatest in your Rockstar's merch. Grab a hoodie, a tee.
Also, just found out that Robo is a man in the comics. That shit blew.
A hat of your favorite show or movie and be a rock star out in the wild. Buying a shirt from nerdbuy.shop is the best way to support the channel, and we got Invincible merch. We love this Invincible merch. Go wear it. And also, we got the boys merch. All right, now let's get into this last breakdown. The episode is titled Don't Leave Me Hanging Here, and the remaining Viltrumites did indeed go to Earth. In the opening image, we only see 9 of them, excluding Thragg. Krieg, Lucan, Thula, and Anissa are among them. At the end of the last episode, after almost killing Mark, we saw those 5 and Thragg and the white-haired Viltrumite fly away at the end. It's not really clear how many are actually left now, but at least 17, Thragg, Nolan, and if we're counting Mark and Oliver, that's 21. Alan later says that there's less than 40 Viltrumites in space. Even he may not know exactly how many are out there. And at the end, Thragg says that there are 37 of us left. They just start straight up attacking. They drop from their ship and generate enough pressure and speed that they create waves so powerful, they're tsunami level waves. This is the equivalent showboating strength that I like to see in this show, similar to like how Thragg was able to pull in Nolan by winding up and just punching him.
Became an airbender just for that
with his fist. I didn't mention it last breakdown, but rewatching season 2's fight with Anissa and Mark, I noticed she does a similar technique on Mark, minus that gravitational pull. It's just more of the punch in the chin straight to space technique. They crash through buildings and people. This one dude gets chopped in half. I don't even know if I can show this. You know, this is YouTube. And just like in the last episode, Thragg watches his minions wreak havoc as the first line of defense. Then we realize that this is Mark's imagination and his biggest fear. And this happens a lot throughout the episode, just like it did in the comics. However, the first imagination in the comics is actually Thragg attacking the Pentagon and going after Cecil first. Either way, it still lands even harder here. Bringing that element into the show really works because mental health has been such a central theme in this series, and the fact that these sequences feel more like hallucinations later rather than hypothetical daydreams like they were in the comics says a lot about where Mark is mentally. These aren't just what could happen scenarios. He's experiencing his loved ones being torn apart as if it's happening in the present. Nolan tries to get Mark to relax, but they literally have no plan for what they do when they get back to Earth. How am I supposed to stay calm if we don't have a plan? We're now with Alan. He's nervous about replacing Thetis, but Alan apparently was chosen directly by Thetis to replace him. He makes a quip that Thetis had big shoes to fill, although he wore weird slipper things, and this new garb that Alan has to wear is actually really different from Thetis's. It does match his comic depiction.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't look tough as hell.
After taking over Thetis' position with some light resemblance in like lines and shapes, but overall it's very different. And I think that comes down to Thetis constantly trying to hide and disguise himself as not being a Viltrumite, wearing like heavy robes with a shawl that covered most of his arms. Alan, on the other hand, has nothing to hide, so his look comes across more regal and fitting of a leader. Alan has now also taken over Thetis' office, which we assume he would, but he actually hasn't changed a thing since he's died, which I think is very telling for how he doesn't really feel that right in all of this. On the ship back on Earth is now only Mark, Nolan, and Zoe because all the others on their group either went back to their planets or died. And I don't know if Battle Beast is genuinely dead yet. He mainly got his jetpack ripped off. The guy pops up when you least expect it though, so I don't know if he's actually dead yet. And another funny comic moment, Zoe tries to talk to Nolan and Mark.
First off, I want to say shout out Battle Beast, even though he ain't really did what he needed to do. He may be a fraud, but my nigga was really fighting in that motherfucker. You feel me? I appreciate shit like that.
But their heads are in the clouds and they ignore her. And this also happened in the comics, but it ended up with Tech Jacket telling them that they suck at the end. But in a sad note, you can tell that like because Oliver is on Telescria, healing in his tank, Zoe probably misses hanging out with Oliver because Nolan and Mark are crappy companions right now. They're approaching Earth's atmosphere and they're alerted by this alien guy who sort of looks like a Flaxen. Nolan starts to put together a plan, hide in the shadow of the moon, sneakily scope out for the Viltrumites on Earth, and if they're there, they'll regroup on Telescria, the planet that holds the headquarters of the Coalition of Planets, and where Alan is right now. And before he can get any more out, Mark flies down to Earth. Becoming his own meteor, he speeds down to Earth, just as he imagined the Viltrumites doing at the beginning. He surfs across the ocean, but unlike his imagination, he creates no tsunami-like waves. There seems to be no destruction, no foul play. Everyone's just going about their normal lives in a normal day. The bus also reads Curtis Cliff, and Cliff Curtis is the voice actor for Paul on the show. Zoe and Nolan follow Mark to Earth and realize the Viltrumites are not here, and in the comics, they were already there. Similar to how the episode handled Tech Jacket, the pacing is flipped, where we meet Zoe Zoe in the middle of the episode was actually at the beginning of that issue in the comics. And here when Nolan, Mark, and Zoe reach Earth with no sign of Thragg in the comics, Nolan and Mark run into him immediately. Mark goes home and Debbie is so happy to see him. She's just now learning though that something happened to Oliver, and rightfully she's a little upset. Then Mark's imagination overwhelms him again and he sees Thragg choking Debbie. This is a similar scene that we got in the comics, but he also took out Paul as well. Mark goes to see Eve while he leaves his mom with Nolan, and Nolan, she said not to come back. I hate you, Nolan. Debbie goes off on Nolan for leaving Oliver alone on a foreign planet somewhere she doesn't know with no idea who or what is out there. And the fact that Oliver was hurt so badly that he can't leave the planet makes it even worse from a mother's perspective. She tells Nolan he isn't supposed to come back to the house, and he finally stops her trying to calm things down. He's trying, he wants forgiveness, but Debbie has to be the one to allow that. And their 20-year marriage really shows at this moment. Debbie's giving Nolan no room while he still believes she'll come around. And she considers it for a second, but ultimately tells him he's not sleeping in her house. When he said, "Stop treating me like you don't know me," I said, because I don't, Nolan. God, I hate him. No, I don't. This episode made me start to...
I ain't gonna lie. I personally, maybe I'm a what's it called? That's my nigga though. I rock with bro heavy. You know what I'm saying? We like this. Fuck all that shit he did, bro. It is what it is, bro. You know he had a mission. They sent him to go do his thing. He ain't do it though. He ain't finished what he was supposed to do. So for everybody that's hating, you know what I'm saying, Debbie need to really just take him back by now. You feel me? Everybody being scared, like, oh, he back in town, the big bad wolf. Like, come on, bro.
Change a little bit, though, the smallest amount, like the size of an ant. When we shift focus to another worried parent, Ed, Tech Jacket's dad, which I don't think I mentioned before, but is voiced by Bobby Moynihan. He's let the space station turn to shit awaiting his daughter's return, and I think it's important to note that everyone is aware it's been months, almost a year, so this is genuinely a great case scenario for this guy. At Eve's, we get Thick Eve, a Big Mama Eve. Big Mama. But this is Big Mama Eve, and I love her. If you read the comics, you knew this moment was gonna happen, and I was awaiting it. We get the full new Invincible logo with all the pieces now completely broken away, and it's in space for a bit, and then there's a flash and a new blue and white title card. We've seen this title card before in season 3, episode 6, when he's finally confronted by Powerplex. Now, during this season, the title cards were glitching to reveal at the end the multiversal marks that he'd soon have to fight during the Invincible War. This title card reflected Flax and Invincible, the first to die in the Invincible War, which we'll get into again at the end of this episode because I don't think this is a coincidence. This season, we've seen the Invincible pieces of the background chipping away into a void in space. Some have theorized this reflects Mark's emotional decline, with his mental state kind of deteriorating in a way and breaking apart. Other people believe that the fragments represent Viltrum slowly falling apart until it's shattered, and regardless, bringing it back to the blue Invincible on white backdrop with sad music feels like a return to the core of Invincible or Mark that still remains no matter what. This is like the part of him that cares about Eve and their future, which does return at the end when seeing a vision of Eve settles Mark emotionally. Eve catches Mark up on what he's missed. Her powers came back, she's back with her parents because her dad threw his back out, she's been focusing on classes and put Invincible Inc. on hold. Then she says she gained the weight because she's been living with her parents, which we know is a lie, but Mark said, baby, that don't matter.
Introducing Grammarly, like you've never seen before. Your all-in-one writing essential.
That don't matter. Mark loves his big girl, and I love her. I love them. Back with Sinclair, they're working on anything to get Monster Girl and Robot back from the Flaxen dimension. They built this trans-dimensional portal, and a tentacle thing monster starts to come through. It starts killing everyone immediately, and Cecil tries to fight back while Donald tries to shut it down. Not knowing how any of the controls work, the monster grabs Sinclair, and Donald uses his bare hands to punch the machinery. As we know, Donald has died a bunch of times, and his skeleton is a robot now, so he's able to do this. Robot and Monster Girl are still trapped, and they know that this is the second time they've fucked up, so there's no plans to get them back. Back with the Coalition of Planets, you can see they're still repairing the damage done by the Viltrumites when they infiltrated in episode 6. And the heads of the Coalition of Planets want all the Viltrumites killed, including, it seems, Nolan, Mark, and Oliver. Also, the Coalition really is talking shit about the Viltrumites when the 3 Viltrumites that saved them ain't in the room. I see what you guys are doing. The representative from Battle Beast's homeworld reminds Alan what the Viltrumites did to his people, like he forgot. And to that I say, how about you get your bitch ass down here and fight them? Ain't that what your people...
Real shit. Cause I'm tired of niggas talking to Alan like he ain't know what he doing. That's Big Alan for y'all. Get that shit right. My nigga been in the business. He been doing this shit.
People beg to do, die in glory, in battle. You go fight the Viltrumites then. I just hate them. I hate them for this. And I love Battle Beast. Additionally, way back in season 1, Alan defended Mark to the Coalition, even then when they said he's not to be trusted since he's still a Viltrumite, and they're just running it back again. Even then, Thetis addressed how Mark was different from the other Viltrumites, but they clearly were not swayed, and over the course of 2 seasons, they still don't trust Mark, even after he saved them. Mark and Eve visit Rick and William on campus, and Mark has another episode and imagines Anissa killing William. Rick then says this.
I've I've seen that look before.
Where?
The mirror.
So Rick went through a lot. He was turned into one of Sinclair's reanimant cyborgs and then had his body rebuilt by Cecil's team, and now he's also part robot like Donald, and he's had a ton of PTSD from all of this, so he knows what Mark is going through. Now at 410, which I guess is the real estate company they work for, it's revealed that Paul and Debbie in the past 10 months at some point broke up, and this is how great Paul is. They still vent to each other. He convinces her to go to Telescria to be with Oliver as he heals. Back with Eve and Mark, they're on top of the house eating Burger Mart. Gotta love Burger Mart. Mark has another episode just as Eve was about to tell him that she was pregnant, but then she tells him that she was pregnant and had an abortion, and oh my gosh, what a twist. After making the decision, Eve has clearly felt conflicted, but Mark reassures her, telling her he should have been there for her instead of in space, and their love is something rare and beautiful, and I love these two so much. Back with Nolan, he revisits the spot where he and Mark fought in season 1. We get a montage of the horrible things he said during his father-son beatdown.
Everything you know will be gone. Mark, you'll outlast every fragile, insignificant being on this planet you have after 500 years.
Cecil then teleports in just as it was with Art. Everyone's terrified of Nolan. I also love how everyone's like, yeah, we won. Well, kinda, because truly there's no winning a Viltrumite war if there's still over 30 Viltrumites left. Cecil tells Nolan to die 2,341 more times, and this is the number of people who died in Chicago when Nolan fought Mark. There was later a memorial built for these people. Okay, so maybe I'm feeling a little bad for Nolan in these moments, but I'm still not happy with him.
Nah, I'm feeling bad, bro. He ain't mean to do it, bro. Like, he meant to do it, but like he ain't really mean it, cause like he ain't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? He had no choice. We can't judge a man by his past actions. How we expect him to get better? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. We gotta let him move on. We let Invincible move on from killing all them people. You know what I'm saying? It falls under the same umbrella. 100. You feel me? 100, bro. I don't go for the Nolan slander, cause Nolan is that guy. You feel me? He been there. He done it all. And he got a family. He got a family to feed and shit. He got Debbie. He got Oliver. So why would I hate on a man trying to change his life? I could never. Sympathy.
Eve's resting when she wakes up to Mark being silently distraught, and he's realizing everything that happened while he was away and how he wasn't here for Eve. Our boy is spiraling. Yet he recognized that kicking this Viltrumite hornet nest, as Cecil said, made them pissed off, and Mark has more to lose while the Viltrumites have nothing to lose. Their planet's gone. Mark has a full family. On Nolan's way back to Oliver, Debbie makes the decision to go with him. She doesn't know how long they'll be gone, so she's prepared enough behind for Mark. Paul's even there to help as well, and they can contact them through Cecil's alerts. Up in the ship, you can tell Nolan and Debbie are gonna get close again, and whatever. I'm not completely mad about it. I'm just a brat, and I just don't like Nolan. Mark visits Cecil, and Mark has another episode, and this dude really needs some therapy to deal with his shit. But luckily, Cecil has someone for them to talk to, and if it's April, I'm kind of down. It's so hard for me to establish boundaries. As soon as somebody asks me for something, I find myself need to burn normal alibi that from therapy that makes differences. He needs Platform's moment, and it's 2022. Just back at Debbie's house, it's empty. Everyone's gone. Oliver, Debbie, even Paul are gone. Mark is alone. And Eve approaches him and offers that maybe he should go for a little flight to clear his head. Mark goes for a fly, and the song playing is 2022's Fragments from the Decade by Death Cab for Cutie. Also, the animators really drew the hell out of Mark's butt here. Why did it make it so juicy? It is thick as hell. As Mark coasts through the skies, he stumbles upon Thragg, and you don't know if this is one of his many hallucinations as the framing begins to blur, but then it's revealed to be very real. They really set up all of Mark's episodes so that when Thragg really does show up, it's more shocking than all the other stuff. As he stares at Thragg, we whip through flashbacks of Mark's horrific past. The scene from the streets of Chicago in season 1, episode 8, and when he flew through the breached hole that inevitably will force the building to collapse. This is the moment that led to Powerplex becoming Powerplex. This was all caused by him and his father. The next quick clip of an orange city and smokes is from season 2, episode 1, done by Evil Mark and Nolan when they began trying to take over Earth for the Viltrum Empire. It then flashes between the Pentagon that was destroyed. This came after the events of the Invincible War in season 3, episode 7. The Pentagon was attacked by Flax and Invincible. And the remainder of these flashbacks come from the Invincible War, which is an interesting connection to this moment with Thragg. The next quick glimpse is another scene following the aftermath of the Invincible War from season 3, episode 7. From the same episode, this is the scene when Mohawk Invincible blasts through the building during the sad Billie Eilish montage.
Slow down with vanilla milk chocolate almond. That's Daz.
Anyone can buy Plan B. No prescription, no ID needed.
We get a view from Rick and William's campus during that war, and the prison that Mohawk Invincible destroyed. We see the flower wilting in the concrete cracks with blood from the aftermath before a volunteer worker steps on it, the wide shot of the campus's destruction, the aftermath from Rex's suicide to save the rest of the team, the aftermath with the burger mart, and then the aftermath of the city while the cleanup crews were picking up the pieces. Keep in mind, all of these clips, Conquest shows up right after all of this. These sequences are very interesting to share, and I think these flashbacks are specifically shown rather than
I feel like what this is showing is like just the destruction that these niggas have brought upon. You know what I'm saying? And Mark is a part of a lot of this. And so for them to just blame all this or have this hate for Omni-Man, I get he killed a lot of y'all heroes, but then we would have niggas like Brit and shit. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Big Brit. You feel me? Big Brit. He really in there. He invincible or something. Like he really the Invincible. That's really what his name should be. So I don't really understand why we going back and forth with these with one nigga that regrets his actions and that really could protect y'all. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he atoned enough. He feel bad. All right then, let's get it. You feel what I'm saying? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
In the time he fought Anissa, or when Mark had to kill a mortal, or even a single clip with Conquest, because Mark isn't flashing back to his hardest fights, he's flashing back to the moments where his existence led to nothing but mass destruction. Chicago, the Invincible War, even the alternate versions of himself, all of it reinforces the same fear. Not that he'll lose to Thragg, but he'll fail to stop him and the world will suffer because of it. This has been a running theme for the show for a really long time. In the first episode of this season, Mark relives a lot of the moments from the Invincible War, and even when Conquest shows up. And even then, it was clear he was dealing with the consequences of actions that aren't entirely his own, but it always comes down to him, and he takes those failures personally because he's just a kid dealing with superhero problems that a 500-year-old superhero couldn't even do. So it makes sense that this is the brink, the last straw. It's because not even his father could take on Thragg, so his anxiety is spiking, rightfully so. Thragg speaks and Mark is hyperventilating, and even the music gets bleak. He starts wailing on Thragg, and as expected, nothing phases him. He eventually throws Mark back and tells him to stop. Thragg tells Mark how it's gonna be. The Viltrumites are gonna make their home here on Earth and blend in with the humans, kind of like how Nolan did for all those years. When he says they'll walk the human streets, we see Lucan dressed in regular old human businessman suits walking down the street, blending in, although still looking very pissed off. Then we see Anissa in a red business suit. She gets whistled at by some turds, and you know she wants to rip their spines out. Then Krieg is like a biker dude with an eye patch smoking a cigarette and getting really cozy with what I assume is a human lady.
Okay, he wanted that human lifestyle. You see how he living? Hey, the iPad's tough too.
He's the only one so far who looks like he's enjoying himself. And these are scenes that we also saw in the comics, and they were funny then too. They're gonna birth our salvation, so they're gonna breed with the humans without them knowing they're Viltrumites. Also, I want a Viltrumite baby. How do I volunteer as tribute? Also, would I die giving birth to a Viltrumite baby? No, I think it'd be fine. Mark knows he doesn't have a real choice here. If he said no, all those things he's been imagining would come true. In the comics, Mark is more persuaded by Nolan in this moment to accept the Viltrumites living on Earth, but here the shift is that Mark agrees on his own. And that already makes me believe that in the future, Mark could be a better leader than Nolan ever was. The fact that he's making decisions like this matters, and it's telling that Thragg didn't go to Cecil or even Nolan, he went to Mark. Before Mark agrees, there's a series of snapshots we get again, Debbie being killed by Thragg, quick flashes from when he killed Cecil and destroyed William's campus in his imagination. Even the moment he killed Eve while they're on the roof, and Anissa killing William. A bunch of hypotheticals that were killing Mark not even a couple of hours ago, then suddenly it's silent and all you hear is nature and we see Eve. This is the decision that makes him say yes, it's a battle for another day. Thragg flies away telling Mark he's become Viltrum's savior, and even though it's not what Mark wants to hear, he insists that Mark has saved every life on the planet. It's almost like he's saying, chin up, it's not all that bad, but instead it makes everything feel worse. All that war, all those lives lost, now feel like they led to this, just allowing the Viltrumites to live here until the day they decide to rise up. Mark stands alone now above the clouds, and a faint whimper is all we're left with. And the sad part is, this scene above the clouds, even in what he's wearing, is mirrored in episode 5 of this season when his dad returned from space and they had to talk above the clouds. It's like Mark can never be at peace. There's always a Viltrumite fucking things up for him. Now we're back with Alan, and Thetis had left a private message for him in case he died during the battle. In it, he tells Alan where the Scourge 2.0 virus is and warns that it isn't exactly stable. It could harm people like Mark's people, so humans, because their DNA is so similar to that of a Viltrumite's. Even so, Thetis tells Alan to use the virus no matter what, believing all Viltrumites need to die for there to be true peace. Now Alan is under-
Thetis ass was tripping with this one, I ain't gonna lie. Niggas want to eradicate the humans and shit. Yo, what's up? Yeah, we can. You said what? Pick up. Loki, if you order it now, I might just pick it up before I get you. Yeah. Alright, so we might as well just do it then on the way back. Alright, bye. Peace out, Tom. I don't know about all that. We going on a trip. Bro, I just don't like how the shit... I'll try it, though. I don't really give a fuck. I just don't like when my shit be cutting out.
Pressure from every side, from the council, from Thetis, and he's being pulled in every different direction between what's right and what's good for everyone else. And that's the end for Invincible Season 4. And the scary part is the fact that nothing was settled or even won, they just delayed everything. We've delayed the virus and we've delayed the Viltrumite takeover. So going into Season 5, we're wondering what the hell is Mark going to do? There's a scenario in which the Viltrumites still help Earth in one way or another, seen as though it's their new planet. For example, Volcanica in episode 4, if she comes back, or if Satan comes up like he wants to, or even if now the possessed female host of Cahor comes for destruction, it only makes sense for the Viltrumites to help protect their new planet. Maybe not forever, but in the meantime. And what does that mean for teams still on Earth? Like, what will they do? Do they have to obey Cecil? While on the topic of obeying Cecil, Robot and Monster Girl are still gone. If they find out that Cecil stopped the search for them, will they be pissed? How do they return?
Nah, bro. Robot and Monster Girl had to go anyways. I was tired of hearing about these two dumb fuck ass niggas just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going for all that. Real shit. Like, I don't even care, bro. They could go. They be with all the BS. We don't need them. We got Invincible. We got Adam Eve. Okay. I don't even like Bulletproof for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, GG's to half of these niggas, bro. Really, Immortal need to come out of retirement. No reason a nigga named Immortal should ever be retired. You're immortal. Keep coming back. Retire for a little bit. Come back. You should never really retire. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Does who know? Who knows?
So many questions, along with the fact that Debbie and Nolan are taking care of Oliver in space, and Mark and Eve are trying to move forward in every single way that they can, and we just don't know how Oliver will return after his healing tank. So comment down below with your thoughts on the finale, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Frederick Price, who supports us at the executive producer level, and a big huge thanks to Gina Ippolito for helping me write.
And another big thanks to ItsChris 6K for, you know, marketing for y'all. You're welcome. You feel me? It's a hard thing.
In my thoughts, I've been fighting demons, ain't no invitation. When I lose my shit, it's not cool, bad situation. Why am I wearing all these faces? In my truth, I'm a bad man, can't keep up with the evasion. Gotta stand on business and stay solo. Still praying for the days where the niggas ask for photos. In my head, am I the problem? Bad thoughts, yeah, I caught them. Bloody fists, yeah, I fought them. Road to riches, I'm on the bottom. So do I take my time and just fight my temptation? Or do I let go all my problems? Can I say salutation?